Hey guys, this is my NFL mock draft that I said I would do yesterday. I said I'd do it today. So here it is. I'm just going to be talking about I'm going to split it into three parts basically. Part one is going to be the first 10 picks from 1 to 10. The second part will be picks 11 to 20. And then the third part, I'm going to do the last 12 picks from 20 to 32, finishing with the best team in the world. Um, I'm just going to be talking quickly about each biggest need for that team, and the player I think they should take. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it with the first overall pick in the NFL draft, which is for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they'll take Jameis Winston, who's the quarterback from Florida State. Best quarterback since Andrew Luck, probably in 2012. The Buccaneers' problem over the last few years has been the quarterback position, and obviously it's a no-brainer really. Jameis Winston is the obvious pick. They've had lots of meetings and workouts already with him. So with that being said, I think that's a no-brainer really, and I think it's about 99% chance they'll take Jameis Winston. So with the second pick though, which is a bit more open. By the way, I'm not going to do trades and all that. I'm not going to predict trades or where I'm just going to stick to where the teams are, because you can't really predict a trade. It's, anything can happen really in the draft, and there always is one. But the Tennessee Titans have the second overall pick. The reason I say that is because there's been a lot of rumors about a trade for that second pick and the Titans moving down. But we're gonna stick the Titans at number 2 where they are, and I think they're going to take the best actual player available in the whole draft, which is Leonard Williams, the defensive tackle slash defensive end. Depends on the scheme you play on defense, from USC. He's the best prospect in the draft for me. He's a absolute beast. So I think that if the Titans went with Leonard Williams, it's a win-win situation really. He's probably the surest player to take in terms of to take a player that high and to say he's the safest pick of the draft is very risky, because he's gone so high, and the expectation is for him to be an elite player. But I just can't see him not being that. So I think that's a great pick for the Titans if that's how they go. With the third pick, again, the Jaguars usually pick around this spot in the draft. I think they're going to go with Dante Fowler Jr. from Florida, the pass rusher. Outside linebacker slash defensive end, the pass rushing position is probably the deepest in the draft. There's probably at least 4 or 5 that could go in the first top 10. But I think Dante Fowler is the pick out of the lot basically. Again, the Jaguars got their free agency splashes were actually quite good. I quite like what they did actually this year. They got Jared Aldrick from the Dolphins on the defensive line at the defensive tackle position, and then they can obviously slide Dante Fowler next to him on the outside, which would be a great combo on that side of the front line. With the fourth pick though, here's where it gets interesting, because it's the Oakland Raiders, and they always throw out a surprise basically. But I think the Raiders are gonna hit the jackpot with their pick this year, because the talent is just, you can't really go wrong with a lot of those players at the same position. There's 3 guys who could go in the top 10 in the wide receiver class: Devontae Parker from Louisville, Amari Cooper from Alabama, and Kevin White from West Virginia. For me, the pick is going to be Kevin White, though, from West Virginia. My favourite wide receiver in the draft is Amari Cooper, but I think Kevin White is going to be, the pick for the Raiders. They've got the young quarterback from last year, Derek Carr, so shows some really good signs. So I think giving him some options on the outside, to help out James Jones on the other, would be a really good move. With the 5th pick, this is where I think Marcus Mariota, the second best quarterback in the draft, and right up there with Jameis Winston, basically. Um, he could really go from the fifth pick. I mean, he could go at number 2 to the Titans, but they really like Zach Mettenberger, so I think they'll pass on that. I think from 5 down to anywhere, basically, from 5 to 15, there's teams that could take him, basically. But I don't think the Redskins will. Again, they lost Brian Orakpo opposite Ryan Kerrigan on defense, so I think they're going to go with Shane Ray out of Missouri. I think he's been pegged right in that elite group, but I don't think he should be there. I actually think Dante Fowler Jr., Randy Gregory, Vic Beasley, and Alvin Bud Dupree are the 4 best. Not Shane Ray, but apparently the Redskins, from what I've heard, really like him, and he has got great potential. So I think the Redskins will take Shane Ray. The pick that the Redskins should take, the player they should take, is going to be the next pick for me, and it's going to be to the hated New York Jets. I just think they've had such a great free agency period. I just think Todd Bowles, knows what he's doing, and he's going to take the right player, and it's going to be Vic Beasley, another pass rusher, who I really like Vic Beasley. So as a player, and I think the Jets will take him. Obviously, wide receiver they could go, but they've got Brandon Marshall now. Quarterback again, Marcus Mariota. It's a good fit on paper, but I think they've followed that kind of philosophy of Rex Ryan, defensive minded, go after the quarterback, and Todd Bowles is even more like that. So Vic Beasley to pair up with Muhammad Wilkerson and Sheldon Richardson is quite scary. So that'd be a great pick for the Jets. At number 7, here's where arguably my favourite player in the draft after Leonard Williams comes off the board, in Amari Cooper. I think he's going to go to the Bears. The Bears are really interesting. They've got 3 ways they could really go. They could take Mariota if they don't feel comfortable with Jay Cutler anymore. They could easily go defense, which is the biggest need, but Amari Cooper at 7 is, I think, the pick, and that's because they lost Brandon Marshall as well, and Alshon Jeffrey's coming into a contract year. If they can nail down Alshon Jeffrey for a few more years and pair him with Amari Cooper, I think Chicago fans are going to be really pleased with that. And then in the second round, the Bears would probably go defense then. With the 8th pick, the Atlanta Falcons. It's a shame what's happened to the Falcons really the last couple of years, because they were looking like such a promising young team back in 2012. I think they're going to rebound in this year's draft with Randy Gregory and make that defense a lot stronger. They've got some good players who are progressing at some of the main positions, like Desmond Trufant at cornerback, really turn up and becoming a great player. And they made a few good moves on defense in free agency, but Randy Gregory, I know he failed a drug test at the NFL Combine, but he's so good at it, I don't think he'll drop him out of the top 10, and the Falcons are going to be very pleased to have him at number 8, I think. So Randy Gregory to the Falcons. Then the last 2 picks of the first top 10 is the Giants at 9 and the Rams at 10. I think both teams are going to go with offensive tackles, actually. I think the Giants are going to go with La'el Collins from LSU, who's my favourite offensive tackle in the draft. I really like La'el Collins. I think the Giants will go with him to plug him in at right tackle to protect Eli. And at 10, I think the Rams, same position. TJ Cummings from Pittsburgh, I think, will be the pick. Again, both offensive tackles are really good. The offensive tackle class is quite deep again. Not as deep as wide receiver or pass rusher, but still very, very good. So I think those 2 teams will pick offensive tackles to round out the top 10. So that was my first part of the mock draft, top 10. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll probably have part 2 on later today. So yeah, look forward to that bit, and see you soon, guys.